Hi, my name is Jeremy Ray Leisure, and this is my cultural self-portrait for the Social and Cultural Considerations class. I'm doing my cultural self-portrait focusing on my mother's side of the family, mainly because my father has since passed away from early onset Alzheimer's, and I am not as close to my father's side of the family as I am to my mother's. My mother's side of the family is quite a large family, similar to my father's, and has recently gotten larger and larger with many new babies in the last few years. Most of my family live in the southern part of the U.S., in like South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida. Now some have branched off, like me and my brother live in New England, and then others also now live in western parts of the U.S., like Colorado. When I asked my family about our heritage and where we came from, I got a lot of blank answers. We really didn't know, or we got very mixed answers. Some said that we were German, some said English, some said French. My granny's last name is Stroman, which is a German last name, and then her maiden name is Jacques, which is a French last name. So we have a very mixed backgrounds, but don't particularly identify with any specific one. When I asked my family members about my heritage, other than the ones I interviewed for this assignment, they said that we were American, and that we don't really identify with any other previous countries other than the U.S., and that we were kind of a mixture of multiple countries and heritages. We created our own culture and heritage, they like to say. And that we weren't really brought up with any particular country other than an American culture. And then that got me thinking, what is an American culture? To us, American culture is family-oriented and family-centered. We have a very strong bond with our family. We also value that we are very self-made and very goal-oriented. We take pride in our work, and we teach others. I remember my grandpa always pulling me into the garage when I was little, showing me how he was working on things and working on his truck and how he fixed things, and he was a very proud man. I think the American culture really consists of very proud people, considering where we've came from. And again, melting pot. It's a mixture of people, mixture of cultures, mixture of traditions. With that, it comes with a mixture of food and music. When we would have holiday parties, we'd have the traditional foods, but not just from one culture, but from all other bunch of different cultures. Not just like French food, but like English food and German food and Spanish food even sometimes. It wasn't just one culture of food. Like any culture, we have holidays and rituals that are important to us. Thanksgiving being one of them, which was always the biggest holiday that we ever celebrated. I always remember going to my Uncle Freddie's. He had a cow farm in South Carolina. We'd always go there. There's a lot of food, and the staple food that we had at his cow farm was steamed oysters. I remember we had a big fold-out card table covered in a tarp, and they just like pour out this big huge pot of steamed oysters, and they'd give all the adults these little tools to crack open the oysters, and we'd have little sauces and butter and I don't know what else sauce. It's been a while. But we'd eat oysters instead of turkey for Thanksgiving. And then while that's happening, the older men and the older cousins would be shooting clay pigeons with rifles and shotguns, and there'd always be the annual photo with all the cousins and the big large family photo. The cousins photo gets larger every year because there's no babies, and married in cousins, and but yeah, as the family gets larger, the family photo gets more and more hard, or gets harder and harder to create because there's more little ones running around. Foods. Every culture has their foods. Our foods consisted of, again, oysters on Thanksgiving instead of turkey. Christmas was grandma's or granny's pound cake. Literally like a pound of sugar was put into that cake. Granny's famous mac and cheese pie, which is to die for. It was amazing. Peanut butter cookies that had been passed down for generations and generations. I don't know how many generations these cookies have been passed down. They're not just your any special peanut butter cookies. They're something special. I don't know what she puts in them, but before my grandpa died, he would make his chili, and then when he died, his recipe went with him. It's in that lower left corner. That's the chili. My dad would try to recreate it. He made a really good recreation, but it's not the same. It's good recreation, but not the same. We do campfires. Up the top picture is a strawberry with marshmallow fluff on it. That was one of the ones we would do. Other things that were important in our family. Again, our family. Big thing in our family, our culture, was sports and camping and big family reunions. We're always encouraged to play sports. Either playing sports or watching sports. I remember going to our family's big football parties, and it wasn't professional football. No. We didn't watch professional football. We watched the college football. It was Clemson, and North Carolina, all the southern sports, southern teams that they were big fans of, Gamecocks, and yeah. So, but yeah, we were always encouraged to play sports. The sports that we played mainly when we lived down south was football, soccer, baseball, softball. And then when some of our family moved up north into New England, we started playing hockey and track and field. I don't know. It's an American thing. That's what we like to call it. It's an American thing. It's American culture. And then the big family camping trip every summer. Sometimes there was one trip we went to Oklahoma to visit my dad's side of the family. That was fun. And other times we would just go somewhere. I don't know. They give us a map. They give the kids a map and be like, kids, pick somewhere and go. Alright, and then I'm going to go into my first interview, which is my granny's interview. Yep. Alright, so this is just for my culture class. And it's like a cultural self-portrait. So I'm going to be asking about our heritage and stuff.
Okay.
So my first question, could you just say who you are and your relationship to me?
I am Brenda Stroman, and I'm your grandmother.
Yeah, you're my grandma. My mom's mom, so I'm focusing on my mom's side of the family. First question, where did you grow up, and what did life look like when you were growing up? Like, what time period was this? Not to make you tell me how old you are, but what kind of time period was this?
What time period was I growing up in?
Yes.
I grew up in right after the World War II, and I grew up in this era, in the 50s.
In the 50s. What is our heritage? Where did your parents and your grandparents come from?
I don't really know. They were both. I've always just considered myself an American because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I know my grandparents on the Jake side came from, we think, France. We're not sure about that. And my grandmama, Bobby, I guess her family was probably from maybe England, somewhere in that area.
Okay. So, growing up, did we do... So you say it was kind of like a France and England, you said?
England, mm-hmm.
Did we do anything when you were growing up that was like a cultural thing? Did we do anything holiday-wise, food-wise, rituals that we would do? Did we get together as families? Did we do...
Yeah. Yes, Jeremy, we were I was brought up with a lot of family traditions. My grandmother on my mama's side, their family was large. And for the Christmas holidays, we always got together at her home for the holidays. Now, if we, and it was just a normal, it was a good Christmas or a good Thanksgiving or whatever. Now, my daddy's side of the family was, there was the only one thing I can remember that we did that was cultural or related to the French side would be, we always, Mammy J had always made wine, and that was always served at Christmas and at Thanksgiving at our home.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we do anything today that relates to our heritage?
Say that again. Say that again.
Do we do anything today that relates to our heritage?
I don't think so, because I don't think we had pushed that. We wanted to remember. Your mom and dad, your grandmama and granddaddy, we always wanted to believe that we were Americans and that we were born in the to the colonial, to that part of the country that I don't know how to put it. I don't know exactly how to put it.
We're kind of creating our own kind of culture.
Right, we're trying to do our own thing, to keep us American. Let's say that. I guess that's the best way.
Yeah, I like that. I think the last question I think of that I was going to ask was when I ask you to think about heritage, our family, and our culture, is there anything that sticks out?
Yes, there is something. There is something. Gosh, my telephone is. There is something that sticks out in my mind. It's that we always believed that all people were created equal.
Mm-hmm.
That everybody everybody was supposed to be able to make a living if they wanted to.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
Well,
I think
the only thing I'd like to say is I wanted my children to grow up to be proud of being an American.
Yeah. And then I was thinking about you saying we're kind of creating our own heritage, our own. Sorry, I'm listening the sounds outside my windows. Thinking about you saying we're kind of creating our own culture, our own heritage, it made me think of Thanksgivings at Uncle Freddy's, and we're doing the steamed oysters. That's kind of what made me think of, like, we're creating our own thing, and the big Christmas parties, and
Well, you're thinking on the right track. Yes, ma'am. I agree with you on that. That's who we are. This is a part of our family.
Yeah.
And hopefully, as time changes, as you and Sean grow up, I was hoping that y'all would sort of create your own.
Yeah.
Your own holidays.
And I think that's a really unique. I think that's a really unique. A really unique thing, because I think everybody's got their own culture and everybody's got their own rituals and stuff, and they all relate to, like, hey, I was from England, or I'm from France, or I'm from Poland, and we have our own, like the Swiss, they have Swiss chocolate and everything, but our family, your side of the family, is we're creating our own, like. So Thanksgivings on Uncle Freddy's farm, and I think one of our staple cakes is your pound cake or something like that. We have our own foods and stuff that we have, and
well, we don't always have turkey and dressing,
Exactly.
So. Yeah, so I think I hope and pray, Jimmy, you will remember all of that as you grow older, hon.
Yes, I will, and we'll pass down this created culture.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna end the interview now. And then I'm going to go in. That was Granny, and then this is my mom's interview. Alright, so my first question is, who are you and what is your relationship to me?
My name is Melissa Stroman Leisure, and my relationship to you is your mom.
My mom.
Your mama.
And then, first question, where did you grow up? What did life look like when you were growing up, and what was the time period?
So, okay, wait a minute, ask this. So there were 3 questions there. Ask the second one again?
Where did you grow up?
Yep.
What did life look like when you were growing up, and what was the time
period?
Oh,
okay. So I grew up in Denmark, South Carolina. And what did life look like when I grew up? We had that I remember, we had a colored TV, and it had the rabbit antennas up on top of the house. Mm-hmm. And we had a dial. I remember Daddy telling me to go change the channel, and you'd have to twist it, and it would make the antenna on top of the house turn to point towards whatever direction got you the clearer spot. So we didn't get cable TV until probably mid-'80s, maybe 1984. Mm-hmm. We got cable TV. Other than that, we had like 3 channels that I remember. Mm-hmm. What else?
What time?
There was so I was born in 1968. So 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
70s and 80s. 70s, 70s I was elementary school. And then 80s would have been 7th grade and up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what else can I tell you about the time period? We had a rotary phone on the wall with a long cord. It must have had 20-foot telephone cord, because I could take it out the door and sit on the steps and talk to whoever it was.
Okay. All right. Can I veer off into a different way?
Yep.
What do you consider our heritage? Your either your mom's side or your dad's side.
And when you say heritage, what do you mean?
So Granny said, I want to say French and English.
Okay.
Would you agree?
Yeah, so her side is more French and English, that I know of. And then my daddy's side was German.
German.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do you
Well,
think?
I don't know if it's German or Swedish, because from what we understood, we were on the Rhine River, but we're not sure which side of the river we were on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And when you think of our heritage, was there any specific rituals, holidays, foods that remind you of our heritage, or was there anything specific that you would remind you of, like holidays or foods that come to mind?
That would have to do with my heritage, like French and German?
Mm-hmm.
No. No, it was more Americanized, as far as like
and that's exactly,
turkey and
that's
stuff
exactly,
like that.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what Granny said. Granny said we're kind of making our own culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
it would be more Americanized, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do we do anything today that relates to our heritage?
No.
No.
Unless you go
And
Christianity.
I would agree that too.
Yeah, I mean, unless you talk about Christianity, and then you're talking Christmas and Easter, things like that.
Well, that counts too. So what do we do for Christmas and Easter?
Well, for Christmas we celebrate Jesus' birthday. I always went to the candle lighting service. I think you've been with me a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I still try to go to one. And for Easter, we celebrate Jesus' birth. No, Easter is Jesus' death. Sorry, resurrection.
Resurrection, yeah.
Yep. And we usually have a family gathering and turkey. Not turkey. What do we have on Easter? Ham, usually. Yeah.
And Granny also mentioned Thanksgiving at Freddy's.
Yep.
When I ask you about heritage, family, our culture, is there anything specific that you think of?
No, because I feel like we're so mixed.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel, when I think of it, I think more American than I do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like we are still following this old cultures that came with us. I feel like we've changed up.
We're kind of creating your old, but there's kind of like a loss of culture. We kind of lost our connection to our past culture.
You could say loss, or as they always say growing up, a melting pot. We've melted all of it together and come up with our own. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I don't want to say lost. We haven't really lost our culture.
I would say we've combined it, the English, the French, and the German.
Yeah. Yeah, there was the rock, children's rock, something, little cartoon that used to come on Sunday mornings that used to talk about the melting pot. Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
Is there anything extra you wanted to add?
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to visit Germany or France and see if we could learn more about our heritage. But
or if there's anything we do today that kind of connects to back then. Because I'm sure there's stuff we do now that could connect to German or French or English.
Yeah.
That we just don't realize that we do that.
Exactly.
Connect
that we don't realize. Yeah.
Okay.
And then like at home, we're big. When I grew up, we were very, very big on rice. We always had rice, and that's more of a South Carolina thing than a Southern thing, because they had the rice plantations, and that was always a big thing in that area. So I feel like you said, we've kind of changed our cultures and melted in with those around us. Mm-hmm.
Right. Doing these interviews have really broadened my knowledge about our family.
That's good.
I really didn't realize all the stuff that I've learned today.
Yeah. I really wish your dad was here just to kind of answer some of his.
Yeah. That's why I was kind of doing this side of the family.
Yeah. Well, and I wish I wish your dad's family were more open so that we could, anyway. Okay.
All right. Thank you for my interview, and I'm going to end it right now.
Oh, cool.
And then this is wrap up. Our family is still growing to this day. Cousins are having babies. Those babies are having babies. Younger cousins. Passing down the culture to their children. Again, our culture is a mixture. It's the melting pot, as we like to say. We don't really know much, but at least it's not that we don't really know much, it's just that we really don't remember. We really didn't really value that much, our history. We value the now, not the when. We are an American culture. So, American family. All American family. All right. Thank you.